I'd be interested to hear how you balance when your own needs for quiet, meal plan, etc., conflict with the needs of the people you care about. For example, aging parents who want everyone to be there at specific times, etc. I have a really quick response to this because um, I am aware, I don't know if this would be true for you, but as I've gotten older and further along in my recovery, I've gotten far more boundaried and protective of myself. And that's got a good side and a not so good side because sometimes by being that boundaried, I sort of completely neglect their needs. So I would I would look for I would look for the need beneath the detail of what they're asking. So they may be like, I need you here at a specific time. And I would wonder about what's the need there and like what's the need beneath that. It may be I want us all to feel like a family and be connected, or I I need everything to look like things are happy and chipper and perfect. All of their I would be looking at that, um, and affirming and kind of validating that emotionally in a conversation. That need is legitimate and validated, and seeing if I can find a little happy medium that allows me to meet my own needs while to the best of my capacity, and sometimes a completely unreasonable meeting what is a legitimate need, even if what they're asking for is completely unreasonable and not and kind of conflicts with. Does that make sense? There will be a legitimate human need beneath all of that. It'll be emotional, and sometimes it's not my responsibility, but recognizing that there's another human with me that has needs just like me, I would look for that and see if I can read between the lines and find something that allows me to honor myself and protect my boundaries while still, caring for another person.
I'm slowly learning to literally ask for what I need. So somebody says, okay, dinner's at 7 and please bring the blah, blah. And I'm learning to reach out to the hostess and say, so if we can't get there until, or if I need to leave at 7:15, can we modify that? And the thing is that sometimes people can, and sometimes they can't. But if I ask before I get all worked up about, oh my gosh, this is just awful, it turns out that it's no big deal. They just came up with an arbitrary time, or it's a really big deal, and get yourself over there. We have multiple nationalities now in our family system, and it's really an interesting thing to boggle. It's like, so which version of time are we talking right now? Or, whose time are you talking about? What time we, the Americans, supposed to actually show up? Just talk to us, tell us what we're supposed to do. It's Yeah, I think that's my takeaway from this conversation is just not being afraid to ask before I get fired up and upset with myself and upset with everybody else. Yeah, just say, hey. The other trick I have is I always look for the small people in the room and interface with them, and the other people are doing whatever they're doing, and the small people are playing checkers or something. That works out pretty well.
I love that. Yeah, I think I really am feeling like this is an active practice too. I never want to especially with communication things. For me, it's an ongoing practicing of where am I at now with my communication? What do I have the skills for in that moment? What can I actually do? But anytime I really try to say okay, yeah, if I can't be there until a certain time, or, if there's something that's hindering me from getting there, can I communicate that with a person to let them know? And just say hey, I'm actually not gonna be able to get there till this time. Is there a specific reason why we're doing that? And trying my best to communicate around that and honoring that it is tough. It is tough to exist when we are learning our own boundaries and trying to communicate those with other people, especially if they're not well versed or know what boundaries are or know what their needs are. It provides a really interesting space for communicating. And I know for me, I'm responsible for communicating my needs. I can't expect someone else to know that. So it's checking in and saying how do we meet in the middle ground on this? Is it something that we can make workable? And coming from that place of love and kindness and compassion in it too. And Chelsea, I really love what you said about what's the need underneath that, right? And being able to come to that, I think, can be a really great way. I'm going to utilize that to connect to what are we asking here? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just to summarize all of that, I agree. And I think, yeah, the key is communication, because I used to storm off like and get so angry and just like go hide in my bedroom, and like no one actually knew what my needs were. Like, and people can't read your mind. So yeah, really communicate, ask why, try not to be so reactive, and also understand, like as we've been saying, that like Christmas is a really triggering time even for people not in recovery. So like even your grandma or whoever like is stuck in their rigid old ways, like Christmas is hard for her too, you know. So I think it's just like knowing that it's hard for everyone, and we kind of need to find a bit of a middle ground and be patient and communicate. I think, yeah, that's key.
That's beautiful. I have to say, Lydia, I laughed out loud when you say some people don't know what boundaries are. And I know we survive. It's absolutely true. And we forget because we've been so well versed in it in recovery. And then I'll also just say thank you, Gigi, for summing it up perfectly in communication. And everything we just talked about is Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg is a wonderful, and it was developed in the 80s. It is exactly this. It is respond to the need. It's very simple. And this lovely man, there are YouTube videos of him with puppets demonstrating it, which is my favorite thing to watch. And I have sent it to relatives. Look, if we try this communication style, but it's actually been used in like apartheid to like between government officials. It's a huge methodology, but the man uses children's puppets to teach it, and anybody can learn it, and it's epic. It's really useful for families that struggle with communication. So anyhow.